Let's get to the point, people. The American healthcare system sucks. You know it, I know it, everyone and their mother knows it. The doctors are mediocre, the drugs are overpriced, and universal healthcare is non-existent. In the not-so-distant past of 2018, it was estimated that the US spent nearly $11,000 on healthcare per capita, which is one of the highest in the world. In addition, America still has nearly 66 million people who cannot afford healthcare, which accounts for 1/5 of its population. But how does this happen? Why is everyone going broke from something they need to survive? Well, let's start with the first issue, doctors. Currently, the way doctors are being paid is by the frequency of their procedures rather than the actual effectiveness or quality of their work. That means that patients have to pay for treatments regardless if they work or not, and because of this, most end up being unable to pay for proper treatment because they already spent their money on procedures that didn't work.
That will be $10,000, please. I have no money.
The solution to this issue is quite straightforward. If doctors were simply paid for the quality of their work, then I believe patients would be able to afford more healthcare without having to pass a universal healthcare law. This would also promote more skilled doctors in the medical field, as the only way for them to be paid is if they're good at their profession. The next issue I want to talk to you about is the overpricing of drugs in America. As it stands, America spends nearly 2.5 times more money on drugs than any other country on average. In 2010 to 2017, America's average spending rose by nearly 76%, which is nearly 11% per year. What's worse is that among the $2.4 trillion spent on healthcare in America, approximately $765 billion is wasted on impracticalities, such as the overwhelming amount of staff designated to the paperwork that is produced when you go to the hospital. To put that in perspective, that is nearly triple of what Canada's yearly expenses were in healthcare in 2019. Additionally, it is estimated that $210 billion is wasted on unused medicine. This is especially atrocious from America, as they're throwing away their money when they could be conserving it or spending it on institutions that actually need the money, such as the education system. Now, you may be wondering, why is the amount of money spent on drugs so high? Well, it's because America thought that it would be an excellent idea to strip Medicare, which accounts for 1/3 of America's healthcare spending, from negotiating prices with brand-name drugs. Because certainly corporations wouldn't try to take advantage of this, right? Yeah, no, if you want to see how much of a difference and how greedy corporations really are, take Nexium for example, a simple medication for heartburn. In the Netherlands, it costs $23. It's fine, reasonable. In America, it costs $215, which is nearly 10 times the price. Huh. The last issue with American healthcare is that it is not the same as universal healthcare. Some of the major differences between the two is that universal healthcare offers free healthcare but increased taxes, while America's provides paid healthcare but lower taxes. Although one may assume the differences in taxes and healthcare may balance out with each other, it is not balanced in the slightest. Whereas America's taxes are approximately 10% lower than Canada's, America's healthcare prices are at an infinitely higher price than Canada or any other country with universal healthcare, as our healthcare is free and the US's is not. The US tried to implement universal healthcare before in 1949 with Truman's Fair Deal Act. However, nothing truly transpired from those attempts. However, although one may think that nowadays more American citizens would be open to universal healthcare and would actively seek for it since the healthcare costs so much, Americans are actually split still, with the two sides generally consisting of the two main deciding factors when it comes to passing laws in the US, Democrats and Republicans, thus creating a stalemate that prevents universal healthcare from becoming a part of American society. In conclusion, despite the overpriced healthcare in America that is charging 10 times the prices for regular drugs and CT scans, the same healthcare that is responsible for putting countless families in poverty and debt, the same healthcare that has been fine-tuned to pertain to the 1%ers of the world rather than the other 99% of its citizens, The same healthcare system that's taking hundreds of billions of dollars and taking it for granted while at the same time neglecting its institutions that need that money in order to continue to nurture the future generations to the best of their ability. America refuses to change. And why, you may ask? Well,
do you want to tell it to me?
Money! That's life.
And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. Hard work.
Let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out. And I know one thing. Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. That's life. And I can't deny it. Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart won't buy it. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball